Let me begin by sharing with you a little story. Almost 200 years ago, missionaries from the London Mission through the island of Tahiti and later from the Wesleyan Mission arrived into the shores of our not so idyllic islands, knowing the fate that may arise, knowing the cost they may have to pay, knowing the great sacrifice that may be needed. They pushed on to bring the light of the gospel of Jesus Christ to the dark part of our ancestry and to our history. It was through their commitment, through their sacrifice and perseverance of these early missionaries that the clubs of our warfare was dropped and the light of God shone the way through the years to the cession of the Fiji Islands to the Great White Queen in 1874. Our colonial masters observed that the native Fijians already had self-government. They simply had to be enhanced to give it relevance. Thus, the traditional establishments were codified and brought into ordinances to give it some form of colonial validity. On the 14th of May, 1879, the first group of 463 Gurmitias from Calcutta in India arrived into our shores under an endangered labor program. They lived in horrible teen barrack conditions and scarce food supply that what we can all call in today's world authorized or approved slavery. They sacrificed not only for themselves, but they sacrificed for us, who are now residents in Wangandadi in Lebuka, Kasavu in Sausavu, Reketi in Hua, just to name a few places where there are still traces of our early settlers and their once upon a time dream of a better life finally realized right here in the Fiji Islands. Fiji was a land of opportunity. It was a land of security. It was a land of harmonious coexistence. People understood each other and had respect for each other's culture. The Fijians accepted and recognized the dedication and the sacrifice, the hard work and the toil of the early 60,000 who came to work in the CSR farms, who lived in horrendous conditions and paid less than slavery pay, so that through that commitment, Fiji today is a better place and a more economically stable nation in the entire Pacific. Our young democracy fought through tides of different opinions to hang parliament, fought through organized marches and strike, fought through teething problems of an early nationhood, and still able to measure up to development patterns in Singapore and in Malaysia prior to 1987. We have never returned or experienced the buoyancy of that era of the past. Never have we scored more than the US dollar in exchange rate. Never have we come close to 25% investment level. Never have we come any closer to reaching economic growth level that is consistent enough to put people to stable work with better pay, affordable cost of living, and better race relation. This election is about rediscovering the ideals that had worked in the past and which will work in the future. It is calling for a generation to lift itself from the state of decay of statesmanship to a place of prominence and generational capacity. People of Fiji, we are not a poor country. We have wealth and supply. We have compassion and hope. We have wealth of oil and gas and natural minerals beneath our feet. and our shores and the hearts of people that will make this country work. We are deficient and lack in leadership. That is our problem. Know this, Fiji, we will resolve our economic problems. We will resolve our unemployment issues. We will solve our housing problems. And we will rise to meet the demand of the Pacific and beyond in terms of food security. Our soldiers will be better equipped to meet the challenges of global terrorism, and we will resolve our race relation issues with wisdom, maturity, and great understanding. We will do all that as a nation. We will do all that when we resolve as a nation to live by ideals and convictions, not by calculations. And whilst we cannot expect government to solve all of our problems, we will have very little to stand on and be counted for it if we fail in our duty to demand change in the way this country has been governed in the last 8 years. In an era that has seen the abuse of human rights, torture, and even deaths at the hands of those who are tasked to provide security, a booming large debt, slow if not stagnant private investment, and an overwhelming fear of our indigenous community in their land and in their chiefly systems slipping away, all by an unelected government, the time to demand change in the new parliament is at hand. We can no longer, in the 21st century, live in a country where rights of persons are curtailed by decrees, born out of a discussion of a few or two. When you think of it, it is almost as if when they discover someone with a brilliant and legitimate idea of bringing positive change, they say, let's pass a decree. And when someone else discovers a way around that decree, they'll go, let's pass an amendment, or try another one. As I said in the party launching speech, decrees that does not allow for recourse and believes in a court of law cannot stand. Decrees that puts power in the hands of a few with impunity and lack of accountability cannot stand. Systems that approves of such disallowance should not be able to stand. Decrees that stops the right of a person or a group of people to appear before a court of law and plead their case cannot stand. These are the decrees we must bring to an end in the next parliament, and that's why we want you to go and vote next Wednesday. This party may be the latest on the scene, and certainly the youngest. Its ideals are certainly not. They are time-tested, and they are proven through biblical history. Fiji's foreign policy is up for renewal after elections. This party is the answer to a present necessity. Necessity to heal the wounds of our past, to bury the things that have separated us for far too long and have caused our progress to stall far too often. The party is going to champion the cause of peace, promote race relations, rebuild the breach of trust, and empower the electorate economically. Right now, the words of the American President John F. Kennedy rings loud in my ears. This is not the time to be asking what the government can do for you. This is the time you should be asking what you can do for your government. Right now, the call to family leaders, community leaders, chiefs, and our politicians alike is a call of responsibility and how we can harness the spirit of our people to this one call to leave a Fiji that is better than the one that we found. This party, without compromising its foundational pillars, will operate on a greater level of bipartisanship, one where we can reach across the racial divide and pull up the economically disadvantaged with a renewed spirit of commitment to nation building. In a time when the future is uncertain and our national elections is just a few days away, I want you to stand with me with hope. Hope of a better day. Hope of a better horizon. Hope of a better future. It is the same hope that rang across this island nation 14 days ago when our fathers, our brothers, and our sons were captured in the midst of a global crisis in Syria. It is a hope that mothers and wives and loved ones had for the safe return of our men. In a similar way, I ask that you continue to display your hope of a new era coming to bear in Fiji post 17 September 2014. Fiji, this is our moment to put our hands on the wheels of history and turn it once more to become a nation that is going to be governed by the people and is of the people and is for the people. If you share these views with me today, I ask for your vote next Wednesday. If you despise the conception that government is only reserved for a few voices and that our government and our children's future should not be held to the highest bidder, then your choice must be known this September. You need to stand up in this election and vote next Wednesday. The journey post-September 2014 will not be easy. We will need to rebuild ourselves as a democratic state. We cannot resolve ourselves to stand as beggars and await free this and that comes from government or be brainwashed away by it. We have an education system to repair, unemployment figures that presently exist that is making young men and young women question whether Fiji really has a future for them. Our path from September 2014 will be harder, but the wisdom and with patience, it will lead us to a better destiny. In the words of the American president, I never said this journey will be easy, and I won't promise that now. Yes, our paths will be harder, but it leads to a better place. Yes, our roads is longer, but we will travel it together. We don't turn back now. We leave no one behind. We pull each other up and we grow strength from our victories and we learn from our mistakes, but we keep our eyes fixed on that distant horizon, knowing that God is with us and we are surely blessed to be citizens of a great nation in the Pacific, a pearl of the South Seas, the way the world should be, the Republic of the Fiji Islands. God bless you, and God bless the Republic of Fiji. Thank you all.